Welcome to Sunday Springboard with Melanie and Kimberlyn Coaching, where we help women recover from and flourish after stress and trauma. Hang on a minute while I share my screen with you. So when I first came into recovery and all the different things I worked on, I've been doing this for over 30 years. And I started out in 12-step recovery, and the different groups that I was in, we went to AA meetings a lot, and we read a lot of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And anytime we would be struggling with something, people would say, go read page 449 of the big book. It's burned into my brain. This section is not actually on page 449 anymore because they put out different versions later. But in the book that I read, in the book I still have, acceptance is the answer to all our problems. It starts on page 449. The actual excerpt is several pages long. I would love to read the whole thing to you, but I'm not going to do that to you. I am going to read to you a couple of the first sections. And if you would like the whole thing, PM me your email address and I will send you a PDF and you can read the whole thing. It is so powerful. But I'm going to read to you a couple of paragraphs as we're coming into the home stretch. I think next week will be our last lesson on acceptance, but today is going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about the power of acceptance and what happens when we accept. So, acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, or thing or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. Until I can accept my alcoholism, situation, problem, relationship, person, experience, I cannot stay sober, joyful, free, peaceful, unstressed. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes. Like I said, send me your email and I will send you a PDF if you would like to read the whole powerful thing. Just to remind you, we are working on how do we reduce our stress. How do we regulate our bodies in the moment when we're triggered? Breathing, movement, music, laughter, friendships. How do we eliminate stressful situations when possible? And now we're still working on how do we decrease our reaction to stress. Now, if you've missed our past videos, you can go to my website, KimberlynCoaching.com. All the past videos are on there. You can watch them, you can catch up. You can remind yourself if you've learned it, if you watched it, but you forgot. And so we realize that the situation that we're in is not actually what's causing the stress. What's causing the stress is our reaction to the stress. How can we change that? We've talked so many different ways. We've talked about accepting ourselves, accepting others, accepting situations. We've talked about radical acceptance. We've talked about when to accept, when not to accept. Today, we're talking about the power of acceptance. First of all, just to remind you that in the core disciplines, this is how we learn to change our reactions. And we talked about awareness, and now we've been talking about acceptance. And then now today, we're going to talk about the power of acceptance. What happens when you accept? What changes happen in your life? So we're just going to do a list here of some different things that happen when you accept. So when you accept, you have less negative thoughts, you have less worry, you stop fighting, you learn to just embrace life. This is what it is. It's not perfect, but this is my life and there is good in my life. Your relationships improve because you're able to have unconditional love. And that doesn't mean that you're always going to have a close relationship with someone because you accept it, but you're able to accept more. When you're able to accept the people around you for who they are, then obviously your relationships improve. When you can accept, you let go of the bitterness, you let go of the past, you let go of those unhelpful emotions. You don't ignore them, you don't deny them, you don't fight them, you just feel them and let them go. You can manage your emotions better when you realize what you're feeling. You can put a name to it. You can say, this is how I feel. It's not good or bad. It just is. Then you can move through them and manage them. Once you're able to do this, you can start to, your body metabolizes those hormones that your brain was pushing. Remember, when you're stressed, your brain thinks you're in danger, and it pushes all these hormones to get you activated so you can fight or flight, and it keeps you revved up, keeps your brain foggy. When you're able to get those hormones metabolized out of your system, your brain clears up, and you can find solutions. You can make plans. You can have goals. You can make changes in your life that will make you happier and more full of joy and free. When you can accept, you realize, I'm not broken. I've had things happen to me. I may feel broken, but I'm not. I'm a strong person, because to get where you've gotten, to live through what you've lived through, you have strengths and competencies that you just don't realize. So if you're not broken, you can stop searching for something or someone to fix you. You're able to be whole within yourself. The pain that you're feeling, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, or mental, you stop thinking about it as much. You stop stressing about it. You stop fighting it. You just accept this is what is. If you can make changes to lessen it, you do. And if you can't, you just accept it and move on. When you accept, you stop searching for the meaning of the pain, and you start looking for the meaning of my life. Instead of constantly asking yourself, why me? Why now? How can I get out of this? You start thinking more powerful thoughts like, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to be more powerful? How can I use this to help other people? I can be who I am. I can accept myself in my flaws, in my failures, in my weaknesses, and in my strengths. Be who I am and be okay with who I am. When you accept, you can accept where you are, who you are, and that pain is just a normal part of life. So many addictions and problems in our lives happen because we are not willing to accept pain in our life. We try to do whatever we can to get out of that pain. That causes self-medication. That's when people turn to drugs, alcohol, food, pornography, gambling, relationships, so many things that we think are going to fix us, are going to take away the pain, and all it does is makes the pain get worse. So when we accept, it actually makes the pain get smaller, and then our life can get bigger. When we accept, we make room for the pain. But the pain is no longer everything. It doesn't overwhelm our whole life. It's just a part of our life. And then it leaves so much more room for everything else. When we accept, we can have all these different feelings here. We can have enthusiasm. We feel awesome and beautiful and funny. We're complete. We're strong. We're healthy. We can anticipate. We can plan. We can enjoy. We can have excitement and enthusiasm. We can feel powerful and wise and beautiful and funny and whole. And we have pain and we have joy. We have all of these different feelings and emotions. Sometimes we have them all at once. I used to think you could only be happy or sad, not at the same time. And I've learned you can have a constant sense, a little piece of sadness always, and still be happy at the same time. They are not mutually exclusive. So to sum this up today, when you accept the pain gets better and life gets bigger. Again, I would love to help you. If you're interested in coaching, there'll be a link at the bottom of the show notes where you can schedule a free session and we can decide if we can work well together. If you want a PDF of that whole acceptance article, PM me your email address. That will also get you into my email group, so you can always be aware of what's going on, and I will send you that PDF. Meanwhile, I hope you have a wonderful, joyful week, and that you experience the joys that happen when you're able to accept the good and the bad in your life. Bye-bye.